Appreciate you being here once again. To go up into 3 segments, we'll read chapter 1 through 14 today, and then 15 through 28, and then another day we'll read 29 through 42. And we'll probably do that for the next 5 or 6 books until we get to Deuteronomy, and then we'll break it up into 4 parts. So yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day. Looks like this is my new spot for doing videos. Jacqueline, shalom. Good to see you again. So yeah, the print lab, as I call it, is the new Bible reading studio as well. The tradesman, shalom, brother. All right. So, we got Job, then John, then Leviticus, Matthew, Acts, and Luke. This is, I reorganized my Bible reading plan, and this is what it looks like now. And then after that, we start getting into longer books: Deuteronomy, Exodus, Numbers, Genesis, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. Then we'll read 1st and 2nd Samuel, one after the other. Then we'll read 1st and 2nd Kings, one after the other. 1st and 2nd Chronicles, one after the other. And then we'll finish this whole series with Psalms. We're close to halfway through the series, and not that we're trying to rush through it, but we're plugging away little by little. Pulled string line for the backyard fence. Nice. You got all moved in. Man, moving isn't very fun, but it is very nice to, get where you're going. Dano, Jericho. That's a pretty good one. That's good, actually. All right. Well, enough chit chat. We'll hang out a little bit more after we read scripture. Why don't we open up in a little prayer first before we get going? Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the group that we've got together right now. Father, it says where 2 or more gathered in your name, your spirit is in their presence. So we just thank you for that. Father, I pray that you give us ears to hear what your word has to say as we read the book of Job. I pray that our hearts would be humbled and that we would be grateful for the lives that we have and the things that we call trials in comparison to the trials that Job had to go through. I pray that we are malleable and teachable, and that we don't have to have any severe lessons in order to learn what you're wanting to teach us. Father, I just thank you for your word, that we live in a country where we read it as of today. And I pray that we wouldn't take that for granted, but we'd be in your word day and night. Scripture tells us to be. And Father, I pray that you be with us right now. Give those that are listening peace in their homes. We want to lift up Kayla once again for healing. Pray that you're already comforting her and her body and healing all that was damaged and repairing that 100%. We love you, and we want to give this time to you and give you honor and glory and praise in the name of Yeshua. Amen. All right, Job. We've all read Job. It's painful to just hear what Job went through. And so for when we feel like murmuring and complaining, I pray that we would just find ourselves content with the circumstances that we're in, and asking the Father what He'd like to show us or teach us through those trials. Sometimes it's patience or endurance. Some of those things don't come but by fire and trials. So, and Dano had a good word for me in the last video. That was it, because these sweatshirts, in fact, they're right here. Might as well show you. You guys know all about it, but they're the Caleb House sweatshirts, and they're obviously doing God's work out there. We put the ink on the garment, and you guys are the hands and feet that are helping them do what they're doing over at Caleb House. But it looks all right from far back, but when you get up close, it's just no good. That one's actually the best of the three. I had my gate too low on my dryer, and it destroyed these. It ripped the ink off of it. You see that? Because these are like basically fundraising sweatshirts. People are paying above market value, if you will, for those sweatshirts, and so I feel a pretty strong responsibility to turn out a really good product. But anyways, I got away from what I was saying. Dano said, was that $100 mistake, or was that like $100,000 lesson in value that it added to me, and what I grow through these situations is way more valuable than the price of whatever it cost us, even our life, so not to value even our life. Reconnect. All right, it looks like we're back. I'm not sure what's going on. I got a little disruption in the service there. Looks like we're doing all right. Isaiah, shalom, brother. Good to see a CB. Shalom, shalom. Oh, I can't. Oh, Jacqueline, I will. And I can't sell these. These are, if they were good, I don't sell those. Grant Caleb House is the only place you can get one. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the book of Job, shall we? All right, there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and straight, and one who feared Elohim and turned aside from evil. And 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him, and his possessions were 7,000 sheep, and 3,000 camels, and 5,000 yoke of oxen, and 500 female donkeys, and a large body of servants. So that this man was the greatest of all the people of the east. And his sons went and had a feast in the house of each on his day, and sent and invited their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it came to be, when the days of feasting had gone round, that Job would send and set them apart, and he would rise early in the morning and offer ascending offerings. The number of them all, for Job said it. The number of them all, for Job said, it might be that my sons have sinned, yet blessed Elohim in their hearts. This Job always did. And the day came to be that the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan also came among them. And Yahweh said to Satan, "From where do you come?" And Satan answered Yahweh and said, "From diligently searching in the earth, and walking up and down in it." And Yahweh said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a perfect and straight man, one who fears Elohim and turns aside from evil?" And Satan answered Yahweh and said, "Is Job fearing Elohim for nothing? Have you not made a hedge around him, and around his household, and around all that he has on every side? Out your hand, please, and strike all that he has, and he would not bless you to your face." And Yahweh said to Satan, "See, all that he has is in your hand, only do not lay a hand on himself." And Satan went out from the presence of Yahweh. And the day came to be when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their brother, the firstborn. And a messenger came to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing and the donkeys feeding alongside them, when Sheba fell upon them and took them away. And they struck the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to inform you." While he was still speaking, another also came and said, "The fire of Elohim fell from the heavens and burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them, and I have alone escaped to inform you." While he was still speaking, another also came and said, "The Kasdim formed 3 bands, and made a raid on the camels, and took them away, and they struck the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to inform you." While he was still speaking, another also came and said, "Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their brother, the firstborn. And see, a great wind came from the wilderness and struck 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young men, and they are dead. And I alone have escaped to inform you." Then Job rose up and tore his robe, and shaved his head, and fell to the ground, and did obeisance, which is basically praising the Father. And he said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I return there. Yahweh has given, and Yahweh has taken away. Blessed be the name of Yahweh." In all this, Job did not sin, nor ascribe wrongdoing unto Elohim. Man, I mean, I'd be remiss to just skip past that and not just soak that in a little bit. You know, everything he had, all of his children, all of his servants, all of his animals, in a day. And I get flustered, when I mess up a few sweatshirts. It's sad, really. Chapter 2. Again the day came to be that the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan also came among them to present himself before Yahweh. And Yahweh said to Satan, "From where do you come?" And Satan answered Yahweh and said, "From diligently searching in the earth and walking up and down in it." And Yahweh said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a perfect and straight man, one who fears Elohim and turns aside from evil? And still he holds fast to integrity, although you enticed me against him to destroy him without cause." And Satan answered Yahweh and said, "Skin for skin, and all that a man has he would give for his life. But stretch out your hand, please, and strike his bone and his flesh, if he would not bless you to your face." And Yahweh said to Satan, "See, he is in your hand, only spare his life." And Satan went out from the presence of Yahweh and struck Job with loathsome sores, from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. And he took a potsherd with which to scrape himself, while he sat in the midst of the ashes. And it is interesting because in KJV it literally says the opposite word. It says, "Curse Elohim and die." But that's interesting. verse 10. But he said to her, "You speak as one of the foolish women speaks. Indeed, should we accept only good from Elohim and not accept evil?" In all this Job did not sin with his lips. And three of the friends of Job heard all this evil that came on him, and Sophar the Naamathite, and they met together to come to sympathize with him and to comfort him. And they lifted up their eyes from a distance and did not recognize him. And they lifted their voices and wept, and each one tore his robe and sprinkled dust on his head toward the heavens. Then they sat down with him on the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and no one spoke a word to him, for they saw that the pain was very great. Chapter 3. And after Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth. And Job spake and said, "Let the day perish on which I was born, and the night it was said a man has been conceived. Let that day be darkness, let not Eloah from above seek for it, nor let light shine upon that night, let darkness seize it. Let it not be included among the days of the year, let it not come into the number of the months. Look, let that night be silent, let no singing come into it. Let those curse it who curse the day, who are ready to stir up with Leviathan. Let the stars of its twilight be dark. Let it wait for light and have none. Let it not see the eyelashes of the dawn. For it is not shut up, for it did not shut up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hide trouble from my eyes. Why did I not die from the womb, come forth from the belly, and expire? Why were there knees to receive me, or breasts for me to suck? For now I would have been lying in peace, I would have slept, then I would have been at rest, with sovereigns and counselors of the earth, who build ruins for themselves, or with the rulers who had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as a hidden untimely birth, as infants who never saw light. There the wrong cease raging, and there the weary are at rest. The prisoners rest together, they do not hear the voice of the oppressor. The small and the great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Why does he give light to the sufferer and life to the bitter of being? Who are waiting for death, but it does not come, and search for it more than treasures? Who rejoice exceedingly? They are glad when they find the burial site. Why does he give light to a man whose way has been hidden, and whom Eloah has hedged in? For my sighing comes before I eat, and my groanings pour out like water. For that which I greatly feared has come upon me, and that which I dreaded has overtaken me. I have not been at ease, nor have I been undisturbed, nor been at rest, yet trouble comes. Chapter 4. And Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, If one tries a word with you, would you become impatient? But who is able to withhold himself from speaking? See, you have instructed many, and you have made weak hands strong. Your words have raised up him who was stumbling, and you have strengthened the weak knees. But now it has come to you, and you are impatient. It strikes you, and you are troubled. Is not your reverence, your trust, the integrity of your ways, your expectancy? The integrity of ways, your expectancy? Remember, please, who being innocent has ever perished, and where have the straight ones ever been cut off? According to what I have seen, those who plow wickedness and sow suffering reap the same. Through the breath of Eloah they perish, and through the spirit of his nostrils they are consumed. The roaring of the lion and the voice of the fierce lion, but the teeth of the young lion shall be broken. An old lion perishes for lack of prey, and the cubs of the lioness are scattered. And unto me a word was secretly brought, and my ear received a little of it. Amid thoughts of visions of the night, then deep sleep falls on men. Fear came upon me, and trembling, causing my bones to shake greatly. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my body stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern its appearance. A form was before my eyes. Silence. Then a voice I heard. Is a mortal man more righteous than Eloah? Is man more clean than his maker? Look, he puts no trust in his servants, and he charges his messengers with straying. How much more those who dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, who are crushed like a moth. From morning till evening they are beaten down, they perish forever, even no one regarding. Are not the cords of their tents pulled up? They die without wisdom. Chapter 5. Call out, please. Is there anyone to answer you? And to which of the set apart ones would you turn? For wrath kills the fool, and envy slays the simple. I myself have seen the fool taking root, but suddenly his home was cursed. His sons are far from safety. They are crushed in the gate, with no one to deliver. The hungry eat up the harvest, taking it even from the thorns, and the snare snaps up their wealth. For evil does not come from the dust, nor does trouble spring from the ground. For man is born for trouble, and the sparks fly upward. But as for me, I would seek El, and I would submit my case to Elohim, who is doing great and unsearchable deeds, innumerable wonders, who is giving rain on the earth's face, and is sending waters on the field's face, to set the lowly on high, and those who mourn shall be lifted to safety, thwarting the schemes of the crafty, so that their hands do not work effectively. Catching the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of schemers are swept away. By day they encounter darkness, and at noon they grope as in the night. But he saves the greedy from the sword of their mouth, from the clutches of the strong. Thus the poor have expected, and an unrighteousness shuts her mouth. And unrighteousness shuts her mouth. Look, blessed is the man whom Eloah does reprove. So do not despise the discipline of the Almighty, for he bruises, but he binds up. He smites, but his hands heal. In 6 distresses he delivers you, and in 7 no evil strikes you. In scarcity of food he shall redeem you from death, and in battle from the power of the sword. When the tongue scourges you, you are shielded, and you have no fear when destruction comes. At destruction and at starvation you laugh, and you have no fear of the beasts of the earth. For your covenant is with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with you. And you shall know that your tent is in peace, and shall visit your tent and not sin. And shall know that your seed are many, and your offspring like the grass of the earth. You shall come to the burial site in ripe old age, like the stacking of grain in its season. Look, this we have searched out. It is so. Hear it and know for yourself. Chapter 6. And Job answered and said, Oh, that my grief were thoroughly weighed, and my calamity be placed on the scales. For it would outweigh the sand of the sea. Therefore my words have been rash. For the arrows of the Almighty are within me. My spirit drinks in their poison. The onslaughts of Eloah are arrayed against me. Does the wild donkey bray when it has grass, or does the ox bellow over its fodder? Is tasteless food eaten without salt? Is there any flavor in the juice of mallows? I refuse to touch it. They are like food when I am sick. Oh, that I might have my desire, that Eloah would grant me what I long for, that it would please Eloah to crush me, loose his hands, and cut me off. Then I would still have comfort, and I would rejoice in pain, though not spared. For I have not hidden the words of the set apart one. What strength do I have that I should wait? And what is my end that I should prolong my life? Is the strength of is the str- sorry, is my strength the strength of stones? Is my flesh of bronze? Is my help not within me? And is ability driven from me? To him who is afflicted, loving commitment, even the one leaving is sorry. To him who is afflicted, loving commitment, even the one leaving the fear of the Almighty. My brothers are as my brothers are as undependable as a wadi, as a bed on which streams once ran, which are dark because of the ice, in which the snow is hidden. When it is warm, they cease to flow. When it is hot, they vanish from their place. The paths of their way turn aside. They enter wastes and perish. Passengers of Tema looked expectantly. Travelers of Sheba waited for them. They were ashamed because they had trusted, and came there and were disappointed. Indeed, you have now become the same. You see my downfall and are afraid. Did I ever say, give to me, or offer a bribe for me from your wealth, or rescue me from the hand of the enemy, or redeem me from the hand of oppressors? Teach me, and I shall be silent, and show me where I have gone astray. Words of uprightness are harsh, but what does your reproving reprove? Do you reckon to reprove my words, and the sayings of one in despair which are as wind? You would cast lots over the fatherless and make merchandise of your friend. But now, please look at me, whether I would lie to your face. Relent, please, let there be no uprightness. Relent. My righteousness is still in it. Is there unrighteousness in my tongue? Does my taste not discern what is perverse? Chapter 7. Does not man have to struggle on earth? For his days are like the days of a hired man, like a servant who sighs for the shade, and like a hireling longing for his wages. So am I allotted months of futility, and nights of trouble have been appointed to me. When I lie down, I say, when am I going to rise, and the night be ended? For I have had my fill of tossing till dawn. My body is covered with worms and dirt. My skin is cracked, and it festers. My days are swifter than the weaver's shuttle, and are spent without expectancy. Remember that my life is a breath. My eye is never again to see good. The eye of him who sees me no longer. Your eyes are upon me, and I am no more. The cloud fades and vanishes away. So he who goes down to Sheol does not come up. He returns no more to his house, nor does his place allow him any more. Hold on. Nor does his place allow him any more. Verse 11. I do not hold my mouth. I speak in the distress of my spirit. I complain in the bitterness of my being. Am I the sea, or a sea monster, that you set a guard over me? When I say my bed does comfort me, my couch does trade with visions, so that my being chooses strangling death rather than my bones. I have wasted away. I would not live forever. Leave me alone, for my days are a breath. What is a man, or what is man that you should make him great, that you should set your heart on him, that you should visit him every morning, trying him every moment? How long do you not look away from me, nor leave me alone till I swallow my saliva? Have I sinned? What have I done to you, O watcher of men? Why have you set me as your target, so that I am a burden to you? And why do you not pardon my crookedness? For now I lie down in the dust, and you shall seek me, but I am not. Chapter 8. And Bildad the Shuhite answered and said, How long are you going to speak like this? Since the words of your mouth are a strong wind. Does El twist right ruling, or does the Almighty twist what is right? If your sons have sinned against him, and he delivers them into the hand of their transgression, if you diligently seek El and plead with the Almighty, if you were clear and straight, then indeed he would awake for you, and shall bless your righteous dwelling place. Though your beginning was small, yet your latter end would greatly increase. Indeed, please ask the former generation and prepare for the research of their fathers. For we are but of yesterday, and know not, because our days on earth are as a shadow. Do they not teach you, speak to you, and bring forth words from their heart? Does papyrus grow without a marsh, a reed thrive without water? While it is yet green, not cut down, it dries out before any plant. So there are paths for all who forget El, and the expectancy of a defiled one does perish, whose refuge is cut off, and whose trust is a spider's web. He leans on his house, but it does not stand. He holds it fast, but it does not last. Moist before the sun, and his branches spread out in his garden. His roots wrap around a heap and look for a place in the stones. If he is destroyed from his place, then it shall deny him. I have not seen you. See, this is the joy of his way, and out of the dust others grow. See, El does not cast away the perfect, neither hold the hand of evildoers. While he fills your mouth with laughter, and your lips with rejoicing, those hating you put on shame, and the tent of the whoring is no more. Chapter 9. And Job answered and said, Truly I know it is so, but how is man right with Elohim? If one wished to dispute with him, he would not answer him in time. He would not answer him one time out of 1,000. Wise in heart and potent of power, who has hardened himself against him and is at peace. He who removes mountains, and they do not know it, when he overturns them in his displeasure, who shakes the earth out of its place, and its columns tremble, who commands the sun, and it does not rise, and heals up the stars, stretching out the heavens by himself, and treading upon the waves of the sea, who made Ash, Kisel, and Kima, and the rooms of the south, who performs great and unsearchable deeds and innumerable wonders. Look, he goes by me, and I do not see, and he moves past, but I do not discern him. Look, he snatches away, who brings it back. Look, he snatches away, who brings it back? Who says to him, What are you doing? Eloah does not turn back his displeasure. The helpers of pride stoop under him. How much less would I answer him, choose my words with him? For though I were righteous, I would not answer him. I pray to him for my right ruling. Though I had called and he answered me, I will not believe that he was listening to my voice. For he crushed me with a storm, and has multiplied my wounds for no cause. He does not allow me to recover my breath, but fills me with bitterness. If I speak of power, look, he is potent. But if of right ruling, who sets me a time? If I am righteous, my mouth would declare me wrong. Am I perfect? It would declare me perverse. Am I perfect? Do I know my own being? I despise my life. It is all the same. Therefore I say, he destroys the perfect and the wrong. If the scourge slays suddenly, he laughs at the trial of the innocent. Earth has been given into the hand of the wrong. He covers the faces of its judges. If it is not he, if it is not he, then who is it? My days have become swifter than the runner. They have fled and have not seen good. They have passed by like swift ships, like an eagle swooping on its prey. If I say, let me forget my complaint, let me put off my sad face, and let me smile, I shall be afraid of all my sufferings. I know that you do not hold me innocent. If I am wrong, why should I labor in vain? If I washed myself with snow water and cleansed my hands with soap, then you would plunge me into a ditch, and my garments shall abhor me. For he is not a man as I am, that I answer him, and we come together into right ruling. There is no mediator between us to lay his hand upon us both. Let him take his rod away from me, and let not his dread frighten me. Then I would speak and not fear him, for I am not so within myself. Chapter 10. My being has grown weary of life. I let loose my complaint. I speak in the bitterness of my being. I say to Eloah, do not declare me wrong. Show me why you strive with me. Is it good to you that you should crush, that you should despise the work of your hands, and shine on the counsel of the wrong? Do you have eyes of flesh? Do you see as a man sees? Are your days like the days of a mortal man? Are your years like the days? There is no one to deliver from your hand. Your hands have made me and shaped me together all around, yet you destroy me. Remember, please, that you have made me like clay, and would you turn me into dust again? Did you not pour me out like milk and curdle me like cheese? Skin and flesh you put on me, and wove me with bones and sinews. Life and loving commitment you have bestowed on me, and your visitation has preserved my spirit. And these you have laid up in your heart. I know that this was with you. If I sin, then you watch me, and let no crookedness of mine go unpunished. If I am wrong, woe to me, and if I am righteous, I would not lift up my head. Filled with shame and seeing my grief, if I lift it up high, you hunt me as a lion, and again you would show yourself marvelous against me. You renew your wickedness against me, and increase your vexation toward me. Changes and a host are with me. So why have you brought me forth from the womb? Oh, that I had perished, and no eye had seen me. I should have been as though I had not been brought from the womb to the burial site. Are not my days few? Then cease. Leave me alone, so that I brighten up a little before I go, and not return to the land of darkness and the shadow of death, a land as dark as darkness itself, and the shadow of death without any order, whose light is as darkness. I answered and said, should a multitude of words go unanswered? And should a man of lips be declared right? Should your babblings silence men? And should you mock and no one make you ashamed? Since you have said my discourse is flawless, and I have been clean in your eyes. But if only Eloah would speak and open his lips against you, and show you the secrets of wisdom, doubling your ability, know then that Eloah forgets some of your crookedness before you. Would you find out Eloah by searching, or search out the end of the Almighty? Is it higher than the heavens? What would you do? Deeper than Sheol? What would you know? Their measure is longer than the earth, and broader than the sea. If he passes through and shuts up and gathers, then who does reverse it? For he, for he knows false men. When he sees crookedness, does he not consider it? But a senseless man takes heart when a wild donkey's colt is born. But a senseless man takes heart when a wild donkey's colt is born a man. If you would prepare your heart and stretch out your hand toward him, if wickedness were in your hand, put it far away, and do not let perverseness dwell in your tents. Then indeed you shall lift up your face without spot, and you shall stand firm as waters that have passed away, and your life would be brighter than noon, and would soar upward, and would be like the morning. And you shall trust, because there is expectancy, and when you have searched, you shall lie down in safety, and you shall rest, and no one would make you afraid. And many shall seek your favor, but the eyes of the wrong are consumed, and they shall not escape. And their expectancy is the breathing out of life. Chapter 12. And Job answered and said, Truly you are the people, and wisdom would die with you. But I, like you, have a heart too. I am not less than you. And who does not know such as these? I have become a laughing stock to my friends. One who has called on Eloah, and he answered him. A laughing stock is the righteous, the perfect one. A lamp is despised in the thought of one who is at ease, prepared for those whose feet slip. The tents of robbers are at peace, and those who provoke El are complacent to him who brings Eloah into his hand. But now ask the beasts, and they teach you, and the birds of heaven, and they declare it to you. Or speak to the earth, and it teaches you, and the fish of the sea inform you. Whom among all these does not know that the hand of Yahweh has done this? In whose hand is the life of all that live, and the breath of all mankind? Does the ear not try words, and the mouth taste food for itself? With the aged is wisdom, and length of days. With him are wisdom and might. He has counsel and understanding. Look, he breaks down, and it is not rebuilt. If he imprisons a man, there is no release. Look, he withholds the waters, he withholds the waters, and they dry up, and he sends them out, and they overwhelm the earth. With him are with him are strength and ability. The misled and the misleader are his. He leads counselors away striped, and makes judges go mad. He loosens the bonds of sovereigns and binds a girdle on their loins. Who leads away priests as a spoil, and overthrows the mighty, turning aside the lip of the trusted ones, and takes away the discernment of the elders, pouring scorn on nobles, and loosens the girdle of the strong, revealing deep matters out of darkness, and he brings the shadow of death to light, making nations great, and he destroys them, spreading out the nations, and he leads them out, turning aside the heart of the chiefs of the people of earth, and he makes them wander in a pathless waste. They grope in darkness, having no light, and he makes them stagger like a drunkard. Chapter 13. Look, my eye has seen it all, my ear has heard and understood it. What you know, I know too. I am not less than you. But I would speak to the Almighty, and I delight to reason with El. but you smear with falsehood. Worthless healers, all of you. If you would only be silent, then it would be your wisdom. Please hear my reasoning and listen to the pleadings of my lips. Would you speak perversely for El and speak deceit for him? Would you be partial toward him? Would you plead for El? Would it be well when he searches you out? Or could you deceive him as one deceives a man? He would certainly reprove you if you secretly show partiality. Should not his excellence make you afraid, and the dread of him fall upon you? Your weighty sayings are proverbs of ashes, your shields are shields of clay. Be silent before me, and let me speak, and let whatever come upon me. Why do I take my flesh in my teeth, and put my life in my hands? Though he kills me, in him I expect, but I show my ways to be right before him. He also is my deliverance, for a defiled one does not come before him. Listen closely to my words, and with your ears to what I say. Look, please, I have prepared my case. I know that I am in the right. Who is he who would strive with me? For then I would keep silent and die. Only two matters do not do to me. Then I am not hidden from your face. Withdraw your hand far from me, and let not dread of you make me afraid. Then call and let me answer, or let me speak and you reply to me. How many are my crookednesses and sins? Let me know my transgression and my sin. Why do you hide your face and reckon me as your enemy? Would you frighten a leaf driven to and fro? And would you pursue dry stubble? For you write bitter charges against me, and make me inherit the crookedness of my youth, and put my feet in the stocks, and look closely to all my paths. You set a limit for the soles of my feet, and he, like that which is rotten, wastes away as a garment that is moth-eaten. Chapter 14. Man born of woman is of few days and turmoil filled. He comes forth like a flower and withers. He flees like a shadow and does not continue. Yet on such a one you open your eyes, and bring me to right ruling with yourself. Who brings the clean out of the unclean? No one. Since the days are decided, the number of his new moons is with you. You have made his laws and have done, and he does not pass over. Look away from him, let him rest, till like a hired man he enjoys his day. For there is expectancy for a tree, if it is cut down, that it does sprout again, and that its tender branch does not cease. Though its root grows old in the earth, and its stump dies in the ground, at the scent of water it buds and springs forth foliage like a plant. But man dies and is powerless, and man expires, and where is he? Water disappears from the sea, and a river dries up and is parched. A man shall lie down and not rise, till the heavens are no more, they awake not, nor are aroused from their sleep. If only you would hide me in Sheol, conceal me until your wrath turns away. Set for me a law and remember me. If a man dies, would he live again? All the ways of my struggle I wait, till my change comes. You would call and I would answer you. You have yearned for the work of your hands. For now you count my steps. Do you not watch over my sin? My transgression is sealed up in a bag, and you cover over my crookedness. But a falling mountain crumbles away, and a rock is moved from its place. As water wears away stones, its outpouring washes away the soil of the earth. So you have destroyed the expectancy of man. You overpower him forever, and he is gone. His face changes, and you send him away. His sons come to esteem, and he does not know it. For they are brought low, and he does not perceive it. He feels only the pain of his flesh, and he mourns over himself. That's going to be part 1 of Job. We'll read the next 14 chapters tomorrow. He's still going to get Eliphaz the Temnite saying his piece and questioning his righteousness. Obviously, they're saying, yeah, you have it coming. This doesn't happen to an innocent man. You know, Yah doesn't do this to people who don't. He doesn't allow this to happen. Which obviously, because the word of God is true and this is part of it, he does allow us to be tested. But who's doing the testing? Is it Elohim? No, it's Satan. Now he's been allowed to do it, which, I mean, seems like Job didn't have a whole lot of lessons to be learned. He was already doing pretty well, but seems like he has a solid foundation of, hey, like, he even in all this trial is like not going to curse God. He's not going to blame God. He's not going to speak against God out of reverence for him. He respects him too much to speak negatively of the righteous one, the righteous judge. But yeah, I would be pretty upset. I'd be wanting to jump ship too if I was Job. I hope that reading this will help us to be less grumbly about the trials we go through. So yeah, I haven't seen your guys' chats in a minute, but Dano, you're off the hook, bro. I'm just joking. A wild donkey, I've heard that reference before. Yeah. Yep. Your hiney gonna feel the color red, son. Right. Oh man, Grindstone Blend is live. I'm gonna have to get me some of that. Grindstone Blend. Oh man. You know, the one I've been digging the most right now, I'm gonna try the Grindstone Blend for sure. I'm almost out of my African. The African beans are so good. Talking about coffee now. Moose Run's got the Grindstone Blend. It's live. It benefits Stone Ministries. If you haven't tried it, go get some. Better grab it while it's still in stock, because I'm heading there as soon as I get off the live stream. You was looking at it. Well, don't look too long, bro. It won't last. Especially once I don't know if Bear's already made the announcement. But yeah, get some Grindstone Blend. It helps Grindstone Ministries. It helps Moose Run. Moose Run is my brother, one of my very, very closest friends, and I'm so grateful to call him my brother. And oh, it was on his Patreon. Okay, yeah. Well, then it's probably already slim pickings. Why didn't you let me know before it went live? Oh, nice. The tradesman got stocked up on green beans. I don't want to brag, but I may or may not have had something to do with the prepping bucket idea. Just saying. Just saying. With the roaster. Remember we talked about that, bro? Okay, maybe we didn't. I don't know. Honduras Organic. Honduras Organic is bomb too. I got some of that. I got African and Honduras right now. Both good. I got pour over and I see it. Never mind. I don't want to put ideas out there. Oh, see, you're able to multitask right now. Let's see, true that. Um, hey, oh man, all right, cool. So let me put my bookmark on here. So, what is it? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so we'll finish the book of Job this week. The next 2 days we'll finish that. And if you guys, a lot of times, or sometimes I should say, I'll listen to the book that we're gonna read. I'll listen to it on audio, so at least I have some time to sink in the story, or the writing. Plus, I can cover a lot more ground when I'm working. Listening to audio, I can keep moving and listening, and yeah. Let me do something right quick. Tell me if this screws up everything. Did the audio cut out completely? Let me know. Yeah, the kryptonite, the coffee, man. It's my major my last major habit that I have. Pea pot. Yeah, come on, bro. You gotta mention the pea pot. Yeah, the audio. Yeah, I'm sure the audio is low quality. That's all right. It's because I unplugged my mic, but I'll show you guys. Got the Moses mother did not comply. Probably backwards. Story? No, I looked up uh, Jetty because the Russians say Jerry Jr. They go Jetty Jettyvich, and I was like, well, and that's not how they say. That's not how Jerry is in Russian. But you look up what does Jerry mean in Russian, and it means pea pot. So my whole life, these Russian guys were calling me a pea pot, little pea pot, and I didn't even know it. Bastards. Sorry. But yeah. Got the screen print set up, ready to go in the morning. Yeah. Call me a little pea pot. I can't believe those guys. I thought they liked me. They were so kind. They give me their Russian candies. Man, those guys eat so much candy, they all got silver teeth. All the teeth fall out and they just get silver teeth or something. Am I not allowed to say that? I don't know. Does that make me racist? Because I noticed that lots of Russian people had silver teeth growing up. Or does that even count as racism because they're white too? I don't know. Who cares? All right, guys. I'm gonna jump off here and all right. Shalom, shalom, friends. We'll see you tomorrow night.